Hey everyone, it's Calvin, also known as Ormer, and this is the Ace Attorney Chronicles. This is my first ever playthrough of the Ace Attorney Chronicles, and I've considered the defense counsel request for a further summation examination of the jury. And I've determined that the court must uphold the defense's judicial right to this procedure. So, counsel, you will now proceed with your second summation examination. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman? We are, my lord. Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime. Here we go. The summation examinations are actually like kind of fun, even though I think less of this jury every single time they do this. You know what's funny as well? I think that like a lot of these jurors shouldn't be here, like I said, but like there are great like character designs as well, which is always nice to look at, you know? The accused left behind the evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his.
If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, it might be considered. Even the woman was throwing books. It can't be related to this crime and if the window was closed, can it?
Dearie me, it was only a little book, hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit. Like, she's directly involved in this thing now, even if she doesn't want to be, even if it's not completely accurate that she should be involved in it. You know what I mean? Like, she is involved in it, so, like, I think there is kind of, like, this thing where it's, like, maybe, like, she should, be, like, I don't know, like, at least interviewed about this, maybe. I just noticed, like, there's, like, audio levels on the side of my mic. It's a very fancy microphone. It's like a €200 microphone. I just noticed there's, like, audio levels. That's hilarious. Maybe I should mess with those. Dude. I just want to give this over with. If I don't bring home some pizza, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble.
Come to think of it, we have a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes.
So 2 of these guys I think we should press for sure, right? We should definitely press these 2 guys because they keep not giving us enough information on what's happening. They kind of want to get the trial over and done with in one case. Like, that's kind of the case that we're going with, but like...
With one notable exception, of course.
My learned student friend was unable to find a fault in the previous witness testimony. So the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. And moreover...
Jesus, dude.
No one else was at the scene to commit the crime.
Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem that if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone, I fail to see how it can be argued any other way.
That means I'm afraid during the summation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts. But how? What would even constitute a tangible explanation here?
Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman, and how? Those 2 details are all you need to provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted.
And there I was thinking it might be hard. Mr. Naruto, you have to do it. Otherwise, this really will be the end of where the trial ends. No pressure then.
That's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please. I presume you are prepared, counsel?
Oh, yes, my lord. All right, Rinosuke, focus your mind now. Clearly, the key to the summation examination is going to be juror number 4, the maid, or should I say, Miss Garrett. We have to book a book that disappears from Miss Garrett's, from the Garrett's house on the evening of the incident, and the 4th book found in the victim's hand. There must be a way to link the 2. Yes, that's what we have to find. Using every technique I've learned in my short career so far, whatever it takes. Don't forget to keep an eye on Miss Garrett and how she reacts, even to things that other people say. So they're kind of giving us a hint there that we're gonna have to look at like the like, you know, what do they call it again? Like, I always forget the names of the things in this game. Yeah, really, like, this is just a really fantastic game. It's a really great game. I'm really in love.
The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his.
If there was some novel alternative explanation about the victim, well, actually, you know what? Let's go straight to pressing someone first of all. I want to press number 5 and number 6. Let's press these so we can get some different information, if that's okay. Like, I think it's just the best thing to do. You just want to get this over with? How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at stake here. Well, him and me both then, like I said before, he is not wrong. His future is also at stake. If he loses his job, then that's kind of it for him too. I can totally understand where he's coming from as just like a worker as well. Like, that's not nice. What?
I told you already I'm a day labourer, aren't I? If I don't bring home some reddies with me tonight, you'll find me floating face down in the Thames tomorrow morning.
What?
You heard me. My missus isn't one to mess about, you know. She can be fierce, believe me.
That's like one of the biggest running jokes in all of Ace Attorney, isn't it? It's like I don't know how you guys feel about the joke. I don't know how I feel about the joke either. I've only noticed now that one of the biggest jokes in Ace Attorney all the time is like, it's like, have you met this woman? She's fierce, and then it's like it's just this woman going whatcha, like hitting someone in the face. Like, it's always that. It's like Suzato takedown, or the slap in the face, or Von Karma, or the old security guard. It's always just like this joke where it's like, have you met this woman? And then she comes in, she's like, hey, I'm gonna kill you. Like, it's always that. Whatever you feel about the joke, maybe you like it, maybe you don't. I don't know. I never really thought about it up until now.
A situation like this caught up the other day and was all you know, it's funny, but I can't quite remember.
Sorry?
It was too frightening. That's the thing. I must have blocked it out.
Helpful. I wonder if Mr. Bede will ever be dragged into the Thames by his scarf. Don't even go there, Mrs. Otto. There must be some way to jog his memory about this. Okay, so we're also going to press U. Hold it! Hold it there! Hold it there, sir! Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case?
Sorry? What's that? You'll have to speak up, lad.
Could you tell us more about the fire?
It was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles on top of it did. What a sight to behold it was.
You put candles on a cake? Was it some kind of devil worship?
Of course not. It was an angel cake to celebrate my birthday, obviously.
It seems a common custom here in Great Britain, Miss Naruto.
Anyway, I mustered all my puff to blow them out. Only I must have blown them wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but the candles went flying over the room. The furniture caught and everything went up. The whole place filled with smoke.
Definitely sounds like devil worship to me. And by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold, but how did you catch cold from a fire?
What a fiasco was. The grandchildren blessed them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. And then because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows to clear it.
The windows?
The biting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave, it did. I caught a terrible cold from it. It put me in the hospital for a while. I won't forget that birthday in a hurry.
I knew it was devil worship all along, but something about this old man's story is playing on my mind for some reason. We need to demonstrate who, apart from Mr. Natsumi, could have attacked the young woman on the street, as well as how he or she could have done it. Yes, but once again, the jurors' statements are full of personal prejudice. A lot of them seem convinced they're right, even in the face of logical arguments to the contrary. I think you're going to need to pit them against each other to force them to accept the alternative explanation. Yes, I don't necessarily need to find contradictions between their assertions, just connection might do the trick. Alright, I'll see what I can do. If anything stands out, I'll go for a strike. Yep, that's fine. That's the spirit. Suzato, you're such an inspiration to everyone here. We love you. You're the best. So we have, okay, let's see. So if we look at juror number 6 and what he added to this with his new little testimony. Winter house fires are dire. You have to open the windows to clear the smoke. So we have, you have to open the window to get smoke because winter fires are dire. And there's someone else that said, dear me, it was only, even if the man was thrown out, can relate to crime. Oh, there we go. So we can pitch, you against you?
Objection.
Because he said, hey, the window was closed. The two juror statements are clearly contradict one another.
They do? How exactly, counsel?
Don't point at me again. I told you it wasn't me.
Huh? What's that you say? Speak up, lad. Speak up.
Juror number 3, do you see? Oh, me?
See what, sir?
Did you hear the juror's number 6 account of his birthday celebrations last year? Oh my god, we're doing birthday celebrations as an actual way to do this. It seems despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter.
Well, yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from the fire, then you'd be mad not to open the... Oh!
Exactly. On the day in question at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Gardabe household, and Mr. Gardabe had followed to say about it.
The whole place was filled with smoke.
Oh my.
Oh! Excuse me, girl. Juror number 4, do you have something to say about that? I like tea like she does too, actually. Mrs. Gardabe!
How dare me? What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I really am?
It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now.
What is it?
When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window?
What? I beg your pardon. What are you insinuating?
The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and the bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window.
And what if we did? Alright then, yes, alright. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which can't have been easy since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering.
Even though your house is on fire?
You never stop throwing anger until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise.
She's like, hey, I gotta let it out, boy. Of course, I should have realized. That's a significant step towards forward, Mr. Naruto. You managed to establish the window was open. We simply must have to have that added to Mr. Gardabe's formal statement. So we now know the statement was open. Now you mentioned, yes, the window was open at the time, but I'd clean forgotten it's true. Do we still have to pitch you against... The women could have been open when the woman was throwing the books. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. So now we have you pitted. So now you mentioned the window was open at the time, but I clean forgotten it was true. Could you then say, if there's some alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider? The accused left behind evidence. So I'm trying to figure out who could we like pit against each other now, because I feel like now we're I feel like now we're in a situation where we have to like they didn't change their mind like they usually do, which is interesting. He's winter house fires are dire. You have to open the window to see. Yeah, so you know he has opened the window to see. Yeah. I suppose that we could like continue to like. The window was open at the time, but clean forgotten is true. I think that we don't have anything we can really pit against each other right now. So like I think we have to do what we did before, was press again, and I think we might want to press on you for a second actually, because we need to we have her against the ropes. The fourth book was found at the scene of the crime, shows very obvious signs of fire damage. The title of the book is The Lion's Pride. By the way, I have my microphone in a different position today, so let me know if it sounds better or if it sounds worse, if the audio is fading in and out. Like, it's just all this good stuff is good to know. The same title, in fact, is the book that Mr. Gardabe told us he had been reading.
Well, I really couldn't say.
On the day in question, did you or did you not throw your husband the copy of The Lion's Pride that he had been reading?
I did. It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. And now you come to mention it, yes. I was rather enjoying reading it. He was rather enjoying it, right?
Why did you not reveal this information to the court from the outset?
She went to slap the boy next to him because I couldn't, you insolent little man. I didn't remember. At times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you can lay your hands on, as well you know.
I really don't. Yeah, I've never thrown something at someone ever. Whoa. Okay. Did you recognize something, bud? What is it, juror number 5?
You know something? I've remembered what it was. That memory I blocked out. It was listening to what this granny was saying. Brought all the flooding back. Who are you calling a granny, you cheeky devil? I'm Miss Gardabe. I'm all the maid. I'll have you know.
She's keeping up that maid business. Matt doesn't even flinch. I skipped that. Sorry about that.
It was about 2 weeks ago now. I just got back from work after work like. I put my hands in my pocket for the wages I just earned that day, and I nearly died. There was a hole. Every last penny had dropped out.
Oh dear, what a disaster.
You haven't heard the half of it, boy. The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. I could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight. I've lost a day's wages, love. The next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ear. Stuck into the wall next to me, it did. About an inch deep.
No words, just terror.
I could smell it then, you know, that god-awful stench of the Thames.
Thames, it's called, yeah.
I was sure I was gonna end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I could tell you. Now, that's a real disaster, ain't it?
I'll never use that word lightly again.
Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When a woman lose their rag, they throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it.
Mr. Naruto, you mustn't think that all women are so short-tempered or unrefined. So it's not a takedown. No, like, obviously we don't think it's all women at all, like, but like, it's like, I don't think it's unrefined to get angry and to throw stuff, you know what I mean? Like, if you're pissed off, you're pissed off. But like, obviously I wouldn't throw stuff myself. No, I wasn't thinking that. Throwing household objects to people is, well, it's too uncivilized. At least attack with honor, using a bow or the like, yeah, exactly, Susato. What, attack? Who are you going to attack? Actually, let me know if you can hear the garbage truck outside, because it's actually very loud, and I think this mic is actually very good as well at, like, not picking up stuff, I guess. I don't know, I'm just exploring. I've had this mic for, like, 2 years. It's, like, the best mic ever, but, like, you know. Could be rather significant, I think. Alright, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later if I dare.
A woman in rage will hurl almost anything at you with the kitchen knife really brought home to me.
Okay, so... A woman in rage will hurl almost anything at you. The kitchen knife really brought it home to me. Are we saying here that she threw a knife out the window and was able to stab her from... Hold on a second, no way. I can't, okay, let's see. Are we saying this is it? Those two statements clearly have deeply significant connection. I don't, like, significant is not the word I'd use, but okay.
Good grief, you mean they contradict each other? Explain, counsel, at once.
I don't think it's a contradiction. I don't think it's a contradiction at all. Really. I think it's more just like, yeah, like, I think connection is probably a better word for it than contradiction. Juror number 2. Do you think perhaps that this could be one such novel alternative?
My, whatever do you mean?
An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back.
What are you talking about?
We've demonstrated the 4th book, The Lion's Pride, that was found at the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Garrity's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garrity household to the street below.
What's that now?
After all, Mr. Garrity could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4?
What are you insinuating now, you little beanpole?
What's a beanpole? Hold on a second. I always have to, like, open up, like, either my phone to look at this, or like, a beanpole is... Okay. It's like, I'm guessing it's like, if you call someone beanpole, you're criticizing because you think they're extremely tall and thin. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's like 2010. Thank you so much. I'm beginning to think that ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps she had had a feeling that might be what happened. I don't, by the way, the thank you is a joke. I really genuinely think that, like, you shouldn't comment on anyone's really appearance unless it's like, hey, like, you know, like, you should never be like, hey, you look super skinny or looking super big, because that could be, like, a sensitive thing for people. You know, you can compliment people without commenting on their weight or their appearance or their face or whatever. You can be like, hey, man, that outfit looks deadly today. Hey, your shirt looks nice. Hey, your hair looks great. Oh my god, your eyes are really pretty, you know?
Now, see you Easton Gala. As the foreman of this juror, I demand a straight answer.
I'll give you a gay one. You give us this yarn about some other objects making out of the house, but what? What was it? Me and Kazuma. I'm really taking a big gamble here. That was a bold accusation to make, but I haven't any real evidence to back it up. But I'm certain that at the very least this warrants further investigation. Alright, Mr. Foreman. I'll try to explain the defense's theory. The other object that was found on its way from Garrity's household to the scene of the crime was... this knife. Yeah? Are we saying that she... There's no way.
Does that? I don't even believe it. Juror number 4, Mr. Garrity. You're the killer.
I must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before?
Good Lord, Counsel, and what on earth are you doing? That's the weapon that is lodged in the victim's back, man.
Backman sounds like a really bad superhero, though. He only attacks you backwards.
My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Garrity were in the throes of an argument. Miss Garrity was hurling anything she could at her husband, who had been backed up against a window that had been opened to clear the smoke. Through the window to which a book sailed to land at the crime scene.
You can't seriously believe that book. The book was found in the victim's grasp.
Are you saying that it flew out the window and across the street to land neatly in her hand?
Huh. Even my missus hasn't got a name like that.
You haven't met Mrs. Garrity. Well, you have, but you know what I mean.
Yes, I admit there are many details that we don't understand. We must not allow this trial to end right now. I agree. I agree just because it will help me. Oh my. Miss Garrity, your answer please. Have you seen this knife before or not?
Ooh. Ah.
Thud. Thud.
This is actually where you're like, if she actually did murder him by accident, like the man's, or my lord.
I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman of my word, after all. Fickle, but a woman of my word.
Thank you, madam.
Yes, I agree. I certainly didn't see this coming, but I just don't think it'd be right for this trial to come to an end now with so many unanswered questions.
Mr. Foreman.
I have to agree. Not that I think the granny did it in mind.
Yeah, you know, I'm not quite happy about this at the moment either.
All to get it out, ladies and gents.
We did it. Yeah, I don't even believe our explanation, to be honest, but like if that's the case, like if she threw the knife out and it stabbed her at, like kind of like one of those circus acts where they throw the knives at the circular board, that would be insane. That would be crazy.
Congratulations, Mr. Naruto.
So as a result of the French summation examination, a number of jurors' leanings have changed. 2 jurors called guilty against 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this court is divided. And this trial will continue.
We did it. We did it. Mr. Garrity died as well. Are they? Well, they're not doing it to be continued, are they? No, just transition, right? I was thinking, like, because that would be a crazy to be continued, wouldn't it?
Well then, Lord Van Zieks, how does the prosecution wish to proceed?
This trial is rapidly descending into a farce.
That's what your mother wanted to call you when you were born.
Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough.
Okay. Hold him in contempt of court.
What follows is so repugnant it's good for nothing save the gutter.
If I may, Lord Van Zieks,
You may not.
the defense just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened.
Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense argument is a joke, to which I barely know how to respond. But let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourself, Bethel, with the relative positions of those places being discussed.
What do you mean by that? What's his angle this time? I think he's actually talking about the angle at which the things were thrown out.
It should already be more than apparent that between the crime scene and Mr. Garrity's household runs a rather wide street, Briar Road. Which means that the distance from the Garrity's house and the scene is some, 15 yards.
That's like 15 backyards. Let me see. 15 yards. That's around 14 meters. That is a long distance. That's a long distance. I could throw something 14 meters though. I could definitely throw something 14 like easily. If I was angry, I could throw something like 35 meters. You could do that. That's not impossible. That's not even nearly impossible. That's a little farther than I'd imagine. It's not, no, that's not even nearly impossible. Miss Garrity can slap so hard that a handprint is left on your face for days and you're thinking that she couldn't throw something 14 meters. I'm sorry, but we're not doing this line question. In fact, I would say if the developers want to message me right now and give me like a patch that skips this part, because I'm not having it. I'm not having it.
And as you ladies and gentlemen, the jury rightly noted, having portentous the fourth book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, the smouldering book wantonly hurled to the lady house travels in 15 yards.
I could do that. I'm not even a football player.
To land on the opposite side of the road, neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumbs.
I know 14-year-olds in my school who can do that. I know 12-year-olds in my school who can throw further than that. Don't do this.
Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend?
Especially a knife? I could throw a knife like I could throw a knife far, YouTube. In Minecraft, YouTube.
And did the jackknife follow a near identical trajectory to plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think.
Yeah, she had a bad day. Someone threw a knife in her back.
Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots.
There's nothing I can say to that. There's nothing you can say to that because that's how the script is going. I could say a lot of things to this boy. That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice. Yeah, get him, Cesato. Serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare he? Get him. Maybe let's pick our battles here. My lord, might I be allowed to speak?
A judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense, yes. Go ahead.
The prosecution may consider the idea of a fantasy, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning. And as such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. Yeah, Van Zieks, what do you got to say to that?
This fantasy can go on no longer.
To that end, juror number 4, Miss Joan Garrity, must be called to testify and submit to the cross-examination.
Saints alive! A cross-examination of a juror?
Oh, look at my guys. I'm gonna have to get rid of these guys. I really love them a lot.
Order, order, order. Well, this is highly irregular. It's unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand. Objection! Ah! My leg!
And unnecessary. Lord Van Zieks? There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. If my learned friend's farcical theory has any truth in it, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have been flown through the sky before this couple's eyes. And we must assume that they will be able to testify accordingly. Look how adorable these two are.
What say you witnesses? I know one of them has called a witness to the stand, but the other one has said no, and I am not really a good judge, so I will listen to the one I believe will help me more. Van Zieks, I will give you special treatment.
But also, we should talk to juror number 4.
Yes, sir. Constable Rowley be performing report for duty, sir.
Well, look, what's this Wallace and Gromit music?
Good morning, officer.
Sorry for dozing until now, sir. I haven't slept for a month on account of a villain who's appeared on my beat, sir.
Oh, they are so heroic, these London bobbies.
Patricia, my darling, I've been neglecting you, but no more.
Oh, Rowley, my hero, you make me swoon.
I love them. I love them so much.
Very well, I hereby reject the defense's request.
You son of a bee sting.
And order the witnesses to stand and testify again. State forthwith before the court any details pertaining to the defense's alternative explanation of events.
Yes, sir.
Constable Beats report.
The case is not to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrity. Believe me, a London Bobby is good for his word.
Okay, I'm gonna press the hell out of that.
You see, sir, the windows on the top floor of the Garrity house are top hinged casements.
I guess we have to press that too, because it has the orange text.
Obviously, if anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it. I did leave the scene to go fetch help, but my trusty roadie was there to make sure nothing was disturbed.
I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment. Sir, not the straight report on the front, sir.
Okay, so we have a few statements we can definitely press there. We can try our best anyway with them. Well, this is quite stalling. Top tinge casement windows. That detail was not on the police report, Constable.
Oh yes, shall we? Ooh. Sorry about that. I must have been a little drowsy,
You cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable. You can excuse your sins of being a fool, but I guess, like, he's not allowed to use drowsiness?
No, sir.
Sorry, but... What exactly is a top-tinge casement window? And you cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend. Dude, you are so insulting for someone who I beat yesterday. Of course, sorry, the day before yesterday. Slapped a book. I drew a dog. I found it, Mr. Naruto. Cast your mind back to the windows in Mr. and Mrs. Gardiev's room. Alright, I'll try. Okay, woo. So the window opens in order to allow air to circulate in the windows. Oh, cool. But as a top tinge casement window, this swings along the upper edge, you see. Proves nothing. Proves nothing. I'm glad you rectified your ignorance. A casement window, as most prominent feature, is a stay, a metal bar which prevents the window from being opened beyond a certain point. It prevents its opening. This is all news to me.
Absolutely correct, sir. In other words, if a book or a knife would have been thrown through the open window, it would have clattered against the pane and fallen straight down to the pavement below.
No. You see, the problem then? Good, your education in Windows is complete. There was never any possibility of either the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. That is, unless the window pane had been shattered, something we've discounted already. But she recognizes the knife and the book, so they clearly threw it.
See how, Rowdy? That young Japanese man just clapped in agony.
Oh yes, my darling, I saw it. I saw how he crumbled before me.
Oh, Rowdy, you're so strong.
How is this happening? I haven't even started the cross-examination yet. My argument's been destroyed. Counsel, if you drag yourself upright again, the court awaits your cross-examination. I would like to request a better judge, please. Is that okay? Remember Canadian judge? We liked Canadian judge. I miss Canadian judge. Bring back Canadian judge. I want Canadian judge. As I was looking for Canadian judge, someone literally just texted me, and I thought it was gonna be an important text, but it's like Uber Eats. I was like, I'm waiting on a text. I was like, it's just Uber Eats. Let's press this. How can you say that for certain?
Very good question, sir. And the answer is this. It has a noble founding principles of the force written on its reminder to all us policemen of our sworn duty.
He showed us that before, didn't he? Did he? I can't say I remember.
To patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. It's what the job's all about. And that is why I can stand here today beside my long-suffering wife and tell you a Bobby's good for his word.
Wow, so what happened? What happened with the Bobbies?
Well, rubbing my tired eyes immediately, sir.
Oh, Rowdy, you're so manly.
Of course I am, my darling Patricia.
I love them so much.
Oh, pet.
Oh, Rowley.
Oh my god, they're adorable. They're absolutely adorable. No, none of this is what I meant. I meant, how can you say for certain that this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mr. Gardeeb?
I see, sir. You should have said so earlier, sir.
Yes, well... So could you answer the question? That was a waste of time then.
Absolutely, sir. I will answer to the fullest of my ability, sir. There's a surprising reason why Mr. and Mrs. Garrett's domestic dispute can't be related to this case. Before I get into that, sir, just one thing.
What's the one thing? Oh, I'm actually very worried. Okay, I like these guys a lot, so I don't think they're going to change my opinion of them going forward, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. What is the one thing? Yes?
I very much like you and all your countrymen to understand the Great British Institution of Scotland Yard.
Okay.
So I hope you take back some tales of us London bobbies and how we upload our guiding principles.
You know, that's actually not a bad request, dude. I'll take it. I'll talk about you. I won't be talking about all the bobbies. Some of the bobbies actually suck. We saw earlier. Wasn't planning on going back just yet. I just arrived here. Oh, he thinks he's defeated.
So to that end, sir, I'll be able to lend you my warrant card for your perusal. But I must warn you, you won't be able to go through it without shedding a few tears.
Thank you. I'll try. Oh, okay. Okay. You see, sir, the windows open on the top floor, top hinge casements. Hold on, we should definitely look at the, his book right away. Because, like, this is the... Okay, so principles of policing. I didn't want a policeman will strive to preserve the peace when his all-out beat. A patrolling officer is expected to walk 20 miles around his beat every day for the furtherance of the community relations. Any crimes fall under jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist in the initial investigations to help detectives. Is there anything here we can use on any of the actual... Huh. So, a policeman strives for peace, the patrolling, any crime falls under jurisdiction of the beat in which they're discovered, so it's, okay, that's fine. Okay, well I don't think it's gonna help us just yet, but we will press this statement as well. But what you mean they don't fully open, is that correct?
Yes, sir. They're just there to allow a bit of air to go through the house, you see. They're restricted by how much they open.
And therefore anything thrown out the window inside the room would simply strike the pane and fall to the street directly below. For clarity, allow me to mark the map. Here is the location where the objects would have fallen. Yes, directly opposite the scene of the crime on the other side of the rather wide road.
Would it have been so hard for somebody to mention this hop hinge casement before? Well, I have another question for you, Constable.
What would that be, sir?
How do you even know? Why would you have any idea what sort of windows Mr. and Mrs. Gardine's house is furnished with?
Oh, well, sir, that's very simple. You see, I helped with the investigation yesterday.
Oh, very cool.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, Mrs. Beat?
Sorry?
You look, well, delighted. Is there some particular reason for that?
Oh, I was just remembering, that's all. We really were so lucky.
Lucky? What do you mean?
Well, of course I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. But we were just so lucky it didn't happen on Rhodey's beat. It was so close, you see.
Oh, I hadn't realized. Wait.
Oh yes, that's straight, Briar Road. That's the boundary between Rhodey's beat and the next one.
Wait, so if it didn't happen on your beat, why were you exploring this? Because it says in the book you're not supposed to be exploring it, right? Yeah? I love the music here as well. Like, that's what it said, right? Isn't that right, my love? Constable Beat. Don't wake him up, he's just tired.
Oh yes, that's right. That's the reason I was helping out with the interviewing and the occupants of the Gowdy household yesterday. Their house is on my beat, you see.
That was really cutting it close then. Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. If the Gardaí house was on your beat, does that mean the pavement next to it was as well?
Outside Mr. Gowdy's house? Yes, ma'am. The pavement on the side of the road is part of my beat.
I see. I was unaware of that.
Just think, if the woman had been attacked just on the other side of the Briar Road, we would have never been able to go for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary. But that's the life of a Bobby, after all.
Extraordinary people would are Bobbies tirelessly working for the benefit of all propaganda.
Do you know what I think?
I think it was the good Lord's way of rewarding my Rowley for all his work.
Rolly's a good cop, though. I like Rolly.
Don't you think, my darling?
That must be it, pet, my love. That must be it.
I think perhaps we should make sure that we have the information officially on record.
I drew a pig. Leave it to me, Mr. Naruto. I'll take care of it immediately.
I love the animation of the slapping in the book. The pavement where the victim was found lies outside Constable Beat's beat. I now just got beats. That's awesome. The pun. The border which runs down the middle of the Briar Road.
And now it's my turn, I think. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it.
Okay, we'll press this as well, I guess. But according to my notes here, the sun had gone down already and it was dark.
Oh, but Rowley and I were strolling along, gazing at the night sky and looking for our lucky star.
Sorry?
The star that will guide us to eternal happiness.
Can it guide you to answer the question?
If a flaming book had cut across the sky in front of us, it would have lit up like a shooting star.
And if I seen a shooting star, I would have made a wish upon it. Let Rowley be an inspector, I would have said, 3 times at least.
Of course, what with the smog and everything, we couldn't actually see any stars.
In short, are you trying to say that neither a book nor a knife crossed the sky before you?
Yes, sir, that's correct, sir. As sure as the night sky in London is starless, sir.
It certainly seems like they're telling the truth. And then we saw the poor woman fall to the ground, so we ran straight over to help her. Oh, that's so lovely of you. The nicest people in this world are these people. I love them so much.
I did leave the scene to go fetch your help, but my trusty Rowley was there to make sure nothing was disturbed.
Lately, like when I don't know exactly what to do, I've been pressing every single statement, or at least trying to press every single statement. It's been like, what am I doing? Yeah, I don't know. Yes, you said that you went nearby to a police box to fetch an officer. Is that right?
That's right, yes. If I had been Rowley's beat, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course.
Don't feel bad, my love. You can't be expected to know the location of every police box and every beat.
So Rowley told me out the way, only I sort of got a little lost along the way.
Patricia, my darling, that's why I love you. Your terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me.
that's a good husband. A guy who just loves everything about you, even your terrible sense of direction. Oh my god. Beautiful. Oh, please.
So I suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes. But like I said, my Rowley was at the scene the whole time, making sure nothing was disturbed.
I was off duty at the time, of course, but the true Bobby is never really off duty, sir.
Fact about it.
I didn't take me off the crime scene for a moment.
Okay. Are you sure? You sure about that? Nothing to report.
That's correct, sir. My eyes are wide open the entire time, never to go away for a second. Nothing else, no one else was approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. I can swear that on your odds honor, sir.
Really? That seems a little strange.
I beg your pardon, sir. Strange? Seems altogether regular to me.
But this burned copy of The Lion's Pride was originally in the Gardaí household. So the question remains, how did it find its way into the hands of the victim? Can you shred any light in that scene though you were at the scene of the crime the entire time?
Aha! Could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to be burned as well?
That's very coincidental. Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping the book like that in her hand? As you can see from the photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder.
Well, sir, that book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene.
Is that so? There's something about this statement that's not sitting right with me, is there? The two mysteries of how that knife ended up in her back and how the book ended up in her hand. There must be some common thread between them.
Can I ask you something?
You can ask me something in the next episode, you beautiful girl, Patricia. And I will see you all very soon. Bye-bye. This is interesting.